स्क्रीन झाले ऑन? नाही नाही, त्यांचे झाले का कोणाचे? Yeah, I can see a few of y'all. Okay. So now I'll give you a small brief about how to go about writing for your synopsis. Firstly, I want you to know that synopsis is written for your dissertations. So I want everybody to remember the word dissertation. It cannot be intermixed with thesis. Thesis is generally word used for PhD degree. So all of you all are giving your MD, MS, postgraduate degree, for which you are going to make a dissertation, and we are going to write synopsis for a dissertation. Is it clear? Okay. Now this is going to be
disable annotation. Disable annotation.
Okay. Now, anyway, I think firstly, all of y'all have received an email to the department regarding what parts should be there in your synopsis. In case you all don't have it, you all can take it from my residents of pharmacology, because I've already put it on WhatsApp for the departmental group. Now, regarding the first thing is a cover page. So this is the standard format for a cover page. I will not go into the details. Only thing is you have to note that your batch starts from February 2022. Even if you all are admitted late, the batch as per NMC is starting from February 2022. So your year starts from there up to Jan 2025. So that covers 36 months. So your final exam will be in the month of January, or maybe starting in Jan, ending in February of 2025. Now, these are the different parts or components which your synopsis will have. There are a total of 7 parts. First is the index, then introduction, aim and objectives, review of literature, material and methods, references and appendices. So I'm not going to touch up on details of all of them because we have separate sessions for each of them. So have you all noted 7 of your points should be there in a synopsis. Now, how to write the introduction? This is not going to be too elaborate. Ideally 1 page, maximum 1.5 page, and it should be short, telling the reader why you have undertaken the study. So structure it or funnel it down from a broad perspective or an idea and come down to your question that why you have selected such a topic for the dissertation. So generally there are 3 paragraphs in the introduction. The first para tells us about what we know, what is existing knowledge about whatever you're deciding to have your dissertation on. Second is what we don't know, or what are the limitations of the issue. And third, naturally, why we are doing this, because there is some limitation. So ideally find such topics where there are some limitations so that it becomes easy for you to further study it and write your dissertation. And naturally hook your reader from the first line. So don't write just drab introductions. Keep it short, precise, and concise. Do not use too much of textbook knowledge, and do not review too much of literature right now, because that's an ongoing process which will happen by the time you finish your dissertation. There will be another section regarding references, which Dr. Sir will talk to you about. Dr. Sapate will tell you about. So don't put everything too much here from your references. Too much of review should not be written right now. Again, aim and objectives. Again, another issue is many of you all call it aims and objectives. Ideal one is aim and objective. There should be only one aim, which is the title of your dissertation. You can have multiple aims in case you have that wide a study, but ideally there should be one aim. Then there is ROL. Again, we have a detailed session on this. So won't talk too much in detail, only use relevant and most valid and recent studies. So don't go too much behind in history regarding the review of literature. In the material and methods, there are various subheadings, as you can see. One very important point is the period of study. Now I have written 1st November because you all may be feeling, sir, ऐसा क्यों बोल रहे हैं? अभी तो June आ गया, and sir is talking about 1st of November. But ideally to go through all the committees, that is from the scientific committee, ethics committee, and for you all finally to get the consent letter from the university, it takes 3 to 4 months time. That is why ideally in your study, you put it as from 1st of November. And generally the period should be for 12 months to a maximum of 18 months. Because already 6 months are over. So after that, say another, suppose 18 months, you're putting 2 years will be over. And in the last 3 months, then you will have to, rush to finish your dissertation. Ideally, it should be submitted 9 months before the date. I think they've changed it to 6 months now. 6 months before your final exam. So if you back calculate from January 25, 6 months before that, so around August, you should be able to submit your dissertations. So accordingly, work about your study period. Naturally, type of study, place of study should be mentioned. Sample size, you all will get help from the biostatistician. Very, very important is the next sentence. IEC means Institutional Ethics Committee for Clinical Studies, and IAEC is Animal Ethics Committee for Animal Study. Clearance has to be obtained before start of the study. That's why I told you scientific and then ethics. Ethics will issue you the certificate which you will have to attach to your dissertations. Then written informed consent has to be taken from all patients. So whoever has a clinical study has to have this format ready, and it should be in your annexures. There are various study designs, important points: inclusion, exclusion criteria, randomization, evaluation of parameters, and statistical methods. References again will be in detail told. Most important is Vancouver style of writing the references. So sir will elaborate further on Vancouver style. Appendices can have your consent forms, proformas, questionnaires, etc. All that can be kept in your appendices. Now, the most important is how your synopsis should be made. A4 size paper, font size is 14, uppercase for headings, and 12 for subheadings. And the routine, normal, whatever you're going to write will be lowercase in 12 font, New Roman. Of course, number your pages as is usual, because it becomes difficult to find out what content is there on which page. Now, generally start each part on a new page, write short paragraphs, use subheadings, divide your sections, only use standard abbreviations. Do not make your own abbreviations. It's better to spell out the whole word clearly rather than going into abbreviations. And most important is check your spellings. The most hateable part is when medical students use wrong spellings. Because later on, when you're going to make publications out of your dissertations, this is the most important part which you will have to look into. Start with a firm plan in mind and have a clear aim. Then go to the literature review, have a time frame where you can complete quickly, and identify the people who are responsible for different aspects. And please acknowledge them in the end in your work. So make a timetable, do a lot of practice later on, be specific, and attend to all the relevant educational seminars, training sessions later on, wherever you can. And finally, at the end, when you make your dissertation successfully, everyone is supposed to have at least one publication before you go for your MD or MS exam. Of course, you need one poster and one oral presentation also. So this is in short, what is the process? Make one copy of your synopsis, which you will do by the month end now, by 30th of June. Submit it to the college scientific committee. They will study it. If anything is missing, they will get back to you, which you have to again rectify, again resend it to the scientific committee. After all that is done, it moves to the ethics part. So either the human or the animal one. Once they have checked it, it moves ahead with further corrections, if any. And finally, when everything is done, both the committees are satisfied, then 6 copies of the synopsis have to be submitted to the dean for further submission to the university. Then it goes to the R&R committee, research and recognition. Once they approve your topic, you will officially get a letter from the Vidyapit stating that this is your title of your dissertation and it is approved. Please make sure that later on when you type your dissertation, whatever wording has been used approved in your letter of approval, do not change later on. So the same words have to be there in the final title of your dissertation. Thank you. Any questions?